Hey guys, thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be reviewing the pihole. We're going to tell you guys how to set it up, how it works, and a bunch of other cool things. So stay tuned for that one. All right, welcome back, guys. So Pi-hole, what is it? Not to be confused with shut your Pi-hole or anything like that. It's not. It's not that. Pi-hole. It comes. The name is because of the Raspberry Pi. It was first developed to be run on Raspberry Pi, so that's where the name comes from, Pi-hole. What it is basically a DNS server that you can run on your network. What's cool about it is that you can have it intersect all your DNS queries on your network, and then the Pi-hole has a database of all the addresses of known ad providers, and anything that your computer tries to get a DNS query on that it's an ad, it will block it. So anything that's connected on your network that is on the same network as your Pi-hole, whether it be your phone, your computer, your laptop, your tablet, your even TVs, anything like that, that would have a link for an ad, it will get blocked. So it's a network level ad blocker. And not just that, you can do some other pretty neat things with it where um, you can set up different groups and kind of users depending on the computers. Let's say if you have, brothers or kids or whatever it is. So says you have somebody in your household that you don't want them to go to prawn websites or whatever the case may be. So you can set their computers, let's say with a static IP address, and then you can set that a specific computer and create a blacklist for just that computer or that group of computers. And then you can manually add whatever websites you want to the blacklist, and those websites won't work on that computer. All right, so here we're on a on a website which usually has like a whole bunch of ads served to you. So here in the top right corner, this square, this blank square here, that spot where an ad will be served to you. So all you get is just a blank square. Same thing here, blank square, blank rectangle, another blank, and another blank. So that's basically what you're going to see on those websites that are going to be trying to give you ads. Okay, so now we're going to go to how it works. Okay, so basically what happens is this. You create a query on your local network, right? Uh, you have your computers via DHCP set up to be the primary DNS to be the IP address of your local Pi-hole. Then any query that gets to the Pi-hole that it's found to be an ad provider, it has like a whole database of them. It'll just block it right there and then, and it will never get out to the internet. Meaning, those ad providers won't be able to track you and stuff like that, your preferences and all that junk. If it's anything that it is supposed to go out, it's not an ad or something. It's not a website like it's an ad, then it'll just forward it to whatever you have different public DNS providers on the Pi-hole that you can set up. You can set up OpenDNS, you can set up Quad9, 1.1.1.1, or Google DNS, whatever one floats your boat. All right, so now how do we set up the Pi-hole? Well, there's different options to set up your Pi-hole. Um, the main one is to run on a Raspberry Pi. So if you have a spare Raspberry Pi that you're not doing anything with, like I'm using a Raspberry Pi 2, not even the latest one, B plus I think, and yeah, that's more than enough. Most people that run Raspberry Pi, they run it on Raspberry Pi Zeros and stuff like that. So it really it's very lightweight and doesn't take a whole lot of hardware to do so. So if you have a spare Raspberry Pi, you can do that. And I'm not gonna show here how to set it up on Raspberry Pi because that's all the information that's out there. But I will put a link in the description down below with instructions on how to do that. The other option is to run it on a VM, on a virtual machine, a small footprint virtual machine. Again, you don't need a whole lot to run Pi-hole. In this case, I'm running one on hardware on a Raspberry Pi, and I'm also running the backup one on the virtual machine here on my QNAP. So you're gonna need something like Container Station, depending on what kind of NAS you have or whatever virtual host you have. It might look different, but this is how I have it set up. And again, there's two ways to also set up the VM. There's one way where it's super easy. Well, you just hit on create. You will search in here for Pi-hole. Hit enter again. Boom, Pi-hole Docker. And you can just hit create that. Excuse me, and that's it. It'll create the Pi-hole Docker. The problem that I have with that method, though, is that I found issues with it first when I was trying to set it up as the DHCP server. For some reason, it just would not work when I did it with a Docker. The other problem is when you're gonna do updates to the image, you pretty much have to basically remove and add a new Docker with the updated image. So that's kind of a pain in the ass too. So the other way that that I did it, that is the way that I'm going to show you guys, is to first install a LXC container. Okay, so that's what I have here. So you would go to create, you'll type Linux, or rather Ubuntu, and then you will look for the Ubuntu LXC images. You're gonna pick 1604. Let's go ahead and select that. So like I said, it's a very lightweight software, so you don't need a whole lot. So yeah, don't leave it as 100% CPU and 100% or all of your memory, because it's gonna use up all all your NAS CPU and memory. So we're gonna put that around 20%. Let's just type it. Anything between 15 to 30% is probably more than enough. And then for megabytes or for RAM, 1512 to a gigabyte, 1024 is probably enough. We're gonna go ahead and do 1024. I have plenty of RAM on this NAS, so we could do that. Then you're gonna hit advanced settings. So give your container a name. It's not that important. Then we'll just use a generate a random MAC address. That's fine. The network mode, we're gonna change that to bridge, and then we're just gonna point it to the adapter on your NAS, which in this case is that. And I will suggest you change it to use static on my IP address that I know it's available. Make sure your network mask is right and your gateway. You're good. Here, we don't really need to do much here. This is if you want to pass through some sort of hardware to it. We don't need to do that. Now here, this one is if we want to pass through to the base image any network drives on the host. So here you just do add, and then you can see some of the, I'm just going to add like one right now just to show, and then we'll just add as a USB drive share that I have on my NAS. So we'll just pick that, and now on the mount point we'll just put USB, and that's it. Now right at the root there's going to be a folder called USB, and it's going to be the mount point for this chair. Hit create. Again, make sure all the settings are right. Double, triple check it. We're good. We're good. It'll take a minute for the new image to come up. So, all right, and we're back. So, if I didn't finish creating the Pi-hole image, let me go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. So you're gonna have here basically some information about your hardware, how it's doing, and whatnot. A console, which we're gonna use now to finish the installation. Okay, so we got to do a couple of steps here before we can go ahead and install the SSH server and do all that. First of which, we're gonna have to do a sudo apt-get update. So you're gonna type sudo apt-get space update. That's just gonna run a bunch of updates for your base image and get you to a point where you can continue with the next couple of steps. Okay, so we'll let that run and we'll be right back. All right, I finally finished with the update. So next we need to install the SSH server. So we're gonna do sudo apt-get install -y. That's just so it doesn't ask you for yes or no. It just puts yes all the time. And then the package that we want to install, which is OpenSSH server. Okay, so we'll let that work, and we'll be back when that's done. So now we got to set up a user, and we got to give that user the rights or privileges to actually connect via SSH. So we're gonna do sudo add user, and we're gonna name it PyUser. You can name it whatever you want, and for the sake of this, just name it PyUser. Full name. I don't know. Butthole. Room number. This doesn't matter. Yes. Okay. Good. All right. Butthole is created. So now we're gonna give them rights for the SSH server. So we do sudo usermod ag sudo PyUser, just the user we just created. And that's it for this window. So once you SSH to the device, PyUser at the IP address, you're gonna get this thing here saying that if you accept connection to the host with a unique fingerprint, such and such and such, just like a cert or something. So just hit yes, and that's it. And we're on our Pi-hole now. Hooray! Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and install curl, which is just some software that's going to allow us to do the actual Pi-hole installation. So let's go ahead and do that. So we do sudo apt-get install curl. Okay, we got curl. Done. That was easy. Now it's the fun part. This is actually the part where we install Pi-hole. Oh man, that was quick. Let me see if I can. Yeah, here you go. This is what you're gonna type: curl space ssl https install that pi-hole.net, whatever that symbol is called, the vertical line, whatever, bash. Okay, and then you're gonna get this prompt here, blah 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 blah, da 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 da. It's gonna do some checks, make sure you have root, some other stuff, blah 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 blah, and it's gonna update some cache and packages and stuff. So it's basically right now just downloading the files that it needs to install Pi-hole. Okay, so now we're just gonna follow the prompts here to get this installation completed. So press OK. Press OK. Yeah, donate, blah, blah, blah. IP address, da, 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 da. Here you're going to select, whatever upstream public DNS servers you want to set up for your Pi-hole. Just pick whatever here. You can change it later, so we'll just pick Quad 9 and something else. Yeah, whatever. Okay. These are the databases that is going to use for, blocking malware sites and blocking app providing websites and all that stuff. Damn it. Press OK. We don't need to set up IPv6, even though you could if you wanted to, but I won't. Just IPv4 is enough. That's the IP address. Yes, that's correct. There's no IP conflict. We already checked that. This stuff is mostly just going to be press OK. Yeah, we want the web admin interface. Yeah, we want the web server. Yeah, we want to log queries. Select the privacy mode for FTL. Show everything. Yeah, we want to be able to see everything when we connect to the web interface. Now run through some final checks and updates and stuff and apply the settings that we just gave it. So that's going to take a minute. So we'll let that run and be right back. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so this is just letting you know that the installation was completed, it's successful, and it tells you how to access the web interface. It's going to be this. And your password, but don't worry about the password because we're going to change it now. So instead of using that retarded password, we're going to go ahead and type pihole -a-p. Whoa. Okay. No. Sorry, I forgot a space. There we go. Now we're going to just type the password you want, and that's it. The only other thing that you can do here is if you want to do, let's say, check or if there's updates or run any updates actually, because this is one of the the benefits of doing the installation this way is that we can run updates for the Pi-hole database, the interface, FTL. We can run those updates. We know issues of having to install a new Docker every time or something like that. So you just do Pi-hole space -up, and it'll look for update. Checking for updates. Blah 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 blah. Pi-hole core is up to date. Web interface is up to date. And then it'll say FTL up to date. Everything is up to date. Yay! So that's how you do updates on there. Okay. So that's it for that. All right. So we're done with the command prompts. So now you just go to your browser, type the IP address /admin. There we go. That's what it looks like. That's what you should be seeing. Your Pi-hole. Top you see your host name. You're gonna see some information and stuff. Obviously, it's gonna have nothing in there because right now there's no using it right now. So it's gonna look like that. So we're gonna go to login. You're gonna do the password we created. You can hit remember for 7 days so it doesn't bother you again. And that's it. After that you can come here to the settings and customize it anywhere you want. You can set up different upstream DNS servers. As you can see, it only has quad 9 because that's what we did when we were in the command prompt setup. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you want to set up DHCP, that's where you do it. Okay. One other really important tidbit. After you got everything installed and everything running, you're gonna want to, if you're a Chrome user, you're gonna want to go to settings on your Chrome, and then you're gonna scroll down and go to where it says security. Okay, and then you get this page. Now, so depending on your version of Chrome that you're using, the wording may be a little different or something, but this is the part that we're looking for. Anything in here that says DNS. It may say use secure DNS, use forwarding DNS, use upstream DNS. It may have different wording depending on what version of Chrome you're running. But the important thing is we want to make sure this is disabled. Sorry. Make sure it's grayed out, make sure it's disabled. Now, why do you want to do that? The problem that I found when I first set up my Pi-hole was that there were some pages still showing ads, and I was thinking I did something wrong with the setup. And I went to the Pi-hole, went to the command prompt, updated FTL, restarted it, did a bunch of stuff, did a bunch of research. And it turns out this was the problem. What this setting does is basically on pages that are like Google search pages or Google services pages or stuff like that, there's going to be some ads that is going to service on your browser, and instead of doing what it normally would, what it would take a name, right, and it will send that to your DNS server to resolve, and then it will return with an address to show in your page. In this case, it'll do that automatically, bypassing DNS. It'll probably does it over port 443, I'm guessing, on your browser. through Google servers, so it bypasses your DNS and it'll basically bypass the pihole. So if for whatever reason you guys set up your pihole and you still see some ads and stuff in certain pages, you might want to go to your Chrome settings and check this out. Disable anything that says DNS in there. And then Firefox might have something similar, I don't know, but just go to advanced and security, and anything that says use something DNS, use forwarding DNS, you don't want that. Just disable it. Even if you're not using Pi-hole, you don't need that. So just go ahead and disable that. Okay. So that's a pro tip there for you guys. All right. So once you have your Pi-hole all set up and ready to go, this is what it's going to look like. So, you can do some digging around in there and get some really cool information and see where your DNS queries are going and what devices are going where and what pages they're accessing and all that stuff. So that's good stuff. The next step after you have all this set up, it's going to be to set up your DHCP. It depends what it'll probably be your router or whatever, depending on how your network's set up. If you have a firewall, it might be your firewall. So what you want to do is you're gonna want to set up your DHCP server. Everything stays the same. The only thing you're gonna change is your DNS settings. You're gonna want the primary DNS1 server. You want it to point to the Pi-hole you just created. And then for secondary DNS server, you can, set up 8.8.8.8 or 1.1.1.1, Cloudflare, or whatever you want. Some public DNS server that you like and trust. That way, if, for whatever reason, you need to, let's say you have your Pi-hole running on your NAS and you need to do an update on your NAS, then you need to reboot it. It needs to come down for maintenance, and, you're not going to want to only have one DNS server, and while that DNS server is down, then you can't browse the internet, and that's no bueno. Okay, so in my case, what I ended up doing to solve that problem was I have two Pi-holes. I have one Pi-hole running on a Raspberry Pi, and then I have another Pi-hole, a backup Pi-hole, running on my NAS. So that way, if for whatever reason I need to update the Pi-hole, I can update one at a time, and nobody's gonna get disrupted. Or if for whatever reason one comes down with an issue, stuff happens, you need to reboot it or whatever, you have a backup. Obviously, in the case that you only have one Pi-hole and then your secondary is a public DNS server, know that when your Pi-hole goes down for maintenance updates, whatever it may be, then the secondary DNS server becomes the one resolving the DNS queries, and then you're gonna see ads while your Pi-hole is down. So yeah, there's no way around it unless you're cool like me and you set up a secondary Pi-hole like a freaking nerd. So yeah, apps on your phone that will normally show ads, those are gonna get blocked. Websites are gonna get blocked. All kinds of stuff, and it's not just gonna be that stuff. It's even some stuff that will probably pop-ups and stuff like that. That's bad with malware. Some of that stuff will get blocked too. Obviously, it's not 100%. It's not gonna block anything, so I'm not gonna say that just go crazy and start going to weird websites and clicking on everything. Yeah, don't do that. That's stupid. It's not that you're gonna get a virus for sure. But the cool thing is, if you do find any websites that didn't get blocked for whatever reason, you can manually add it. You can go over here, blacklist, and then you can manually add it here. Boom, 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 boom. See, I added some stuff here. I probably don't need that, but you can add it. And then if there's something that it blocked that you don't feel like it should have blocked, that you do need it, then you can add a whitelist in here. So you can do that. And it's fixed. So yeah, guys, that's it. Really appreciate it if you guys can go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe. That would really help us out, and also helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Even if you don't subscribe, go ahead and hit the like button. It only takes you a second, and it helps with the YouTube algorithm, and then other people will get presented with this video, and great for us. And you share this video with your friends, anybody that you know that will benefit from knowing how to set up Pi-hole. I really don't know that there's really anybody that wouldn't want to have ad blocking in their home network. It's amazing. It's awesome. All right, guys. Again, we really appreciate you guys subscribing and staying tuned. We'll be bringing out more videos more often. Stay tuned for the next one. Goodbye.